Today's episode of The Mom Game is presented by our friends at Gateway GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway, because their slogan is, Gateway's got it. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new GMCs and GM certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaygmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So, when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaygmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade.
And I have to tell you about our friends over at Golden Chick now. Golden Chick doing some really great things for the community here in DFW. In addition to offering up some delicious food, they're going back to their community-focused roots with the return of their local school charity initiative. They're targeting individual schools near Golden Chick restaurants. They're supporting over 230 schools within this system-wide Give Back initiative. They're giving 50 cents from every order of their new churro menu offering. They do have churros on their menu. Now, you might not have known that about Golden Chick, but they do. They're going to have them on the menu through December 29th. And when you order off of that churro menu, 50 cents from every order is going to go back to a school nearby that specific Golden Chick that you are at. Might be your kid's school, so you might as well go eat some churros. Golden Chick also featuring new lemon pepper wings to accompany their spicy menu mainstay, those wicked wings. Those are one of my favorite because I love a good spicy wing. The zesty lemon pepper seasoning will coat hand-breaded crispy wings, making for the perfect bite. For additional ways for guests to find value, Golden Chick will have specials on their wings, including the popular Wing Wednesday and weekends promotion with 24 wings and 4 freshly baked rolls for $19.99. That could feed a whole lot of people. For those who like to stick to the classic, iconically crispy golden tenders, Golden Chick is highlighting its Lucky 13 Tenders meal deal with 4 freshly baked yeast rolls for $19.99. Go get you some Golden Chick. Tag us when you do and show us, because you're going to be happy after you have that delicious chicken. Thank you, Golden Chick.
Yay, thank you, Golden Chick, and welcome into the Coppola Studios for episode 240 of The Mom Game. I'm Emily Jones. She is Julie Dobbs. Julie, our studio is officially finished.
Yes.
Look, you got your sign.
Oh my, I didn't even notice.
You got your sign.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
This has been here the whole time?
The whole time today.
Yeah, the whole time today.
I know. I noticed too.
It looks great.
It does. It looks amazing.
I love having little magicians that take our deliveries and put our signs up.
I know.
Thank you, little magicians.
Thank you, little magicians. The big magician is Rob.
Yes.
I can't keep saying thank you enough to what he has done for us in the studio.
It looks so good in here.
And I noticed, so this the studio is like, it's interchangeable. So if someone else wanted to come in here and host their own podcast, they could do that, because all thanks to ProSlat, they can take off all this stuff. This is a removable thing from Coppola. Not everyone is lucky enough to have a Coppola studio, only the Mom Game.
Right.
But I noticed a social media clip, and our friends Sam Gannon and Mike Ducey were in these very seats.
No way.
Sam Gannon and Mike Ducey sitting in these chairs.
They're so famous.
I think Sam was sitting in my chair.
Really?
Yeah.
So
which means you need to check your chair to see if Ducey left his toupee.
In the chair?
In the chair.
I was more wondering, like, what if he kept the chair clean.
Oh, okay. Sounds like you know something about Ducey I don't know. But yeah, so we're here. We're in. We're official. It's done. We're done. We might get some new chairs.
Okay.
I think Rob was shopping for some maybe.
You're the interior designer of our group. You're our accountant. You're our interior designer. There are certain things that I cannot and do not do very well.
There are certain.
And you do them well. And that's why we're a good team.
There are a lot of things I don't do well that you do well. Top on the list is being nice to people all the time. I'm just kidding. Really leaning into the whole bitch thing these days. I'm just going to go hard into it. Just,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Well, that's kind of all I've got.
What? is being nice.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
I'm not good at all these things.
Way more than just being nice. And being nice will get you a long way, as I've told my kids millions of times.
It's true.
I was gonna grab a.
We'll pop one.
Yeah,
we should pop one because we will get to our fun activity that we're doing today. But I feel like it's a good day to have a little pregame.
We don't need a.
No,
we definitely don't need a bottle.
We need a little Sophia. So these are from Coppola, and they're named Sophia, like Sophia Coppola. You might have heard of her, famous movie director woman. Yeah. And she has these cute little drinks. They're so good. Yeah. Little rosé Prosecco cans. And I love grabbing them when the guys are all like grabbing beer because I can't drink beer anymore because of gluten crap. So I love having a can to grab.
Yay. Okay. Episode 240. We've got a big episode coming up. We're not going to, I know.
It just hits different on a Tuesday at 11.
It does, doesn't it? So we don't have a ton of time with us just by ourselves because we have a really cool guest coming up named Jeff Francoeur. Jeff Frenchie, as a lot of people around baseball know him, played for the Rangers in the 2010 season, got to know him a little bit, went on to a career in broadcasting with the Braves, ultimately left that position or scaled back quite a bit, opening the door for my buddy CJ Nitkowski to take that job with the Braves. He is also, Frenchie is working the American League Championship Series for I don't know if it's TBS or TNT, Turner Sports. I get those confused. It gets confusing. So he's working it for Turner. And so he's covering the Yankees and the Guardians series. And we're going to talk with him about a really cool thing he's got going on with a program called Pure Athlete. They have a podcast, basically just talking about youth sports, parents involved in youth sports, and how effing crazy we all are.
From the perspective of a professional athlete.
And they get tremendous guests on. They have great advice. Anyway, so we're going to talk to Frenchie.
It's like our show on steroids.
It is. They got a little more.
It's like a
street
legit
cred
version.
They got some street cred.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Frenchie will join us a little bit later, and also the very first thing I'm going to ask him about is the 2010 clinch in Oakland, because there are some vivid memories of Jeff Francoeur that I want to conjure up with him. So that'll be fun. That's coming up a little bit later in the show. Yeah.
Dad of 4, by the way.
Dad of 4.
Yeah. Some dad stories in there too.
Yeah. Good luck with that one.
I'm always like, did you mean to?
No, they do. People do.
I know, I guess.
People mean to have.
I've actually never met someone with 4 that admitted that
they meant to.
They're always
no,
like,
I have.
Oh yeah, well, this one. Don't let him hear him. It was an accident. Like I hear that all the time.
So I have a crazy ass friend who has 5, and she's like, I would just like one more, and I'm like, what the fuck are you actually thinking?
What's a 6-pack?
I don't. Sounds awful.
Insane.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be fun. But we need to catch up just a tad. We make show notes, like to pull the curtain back. I think we've told you guys this before. We try not to talk too much about things we're going to talk about on the show because it takes away from stuff. Mm-hmm. So we'll make little notes in our rundown about things we're going to talk about. And so I thought you made a typo when I was putting the rundown in today. I thought you made a typo because it just said J study. So I was like, okay, so what's J study? She's like, I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So now I have to know, what is J study?
Yes, it is J study. So that's part of my catching up section. So
are we pulling this out of the tackle box?
No,
it's not out of the tackle box.
I actually have. So this is something I'm doing. My first meeting is tomorrow. Okay. But basically, because I don't know how much I talked about my dad on this show, but after he passed away, we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I talked about it on the radio because I was on the Freak then. But my dad passed away last February of early onset Alzheimer's. And he was only 68 when he passed away. And he started showing signs of Alzheimer's in his early to mid 50s. And I have just like had this realization because I'm going to be turning 40 in June.
Yep.
And all my friends are turning 40. We're going to Mexico in November to celebrate all my college friends turning 40. And so,
girls only?
No,
couples. Okay.
Like, which is insane that we pulled off. It's 20 people.
Serious? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And it's hard enough just to like figure out when to even all get on a phone call, you know? So it's going to be really fun. And it's only 2 nights, not long enough. But turning 40, you're getting close to turning 40, you start to think about things a little differently.
Sure.
And I started thinking about my dad, and I'm like, holy crap, like that was only 15-ish years from where I'm at now. And we all know I'm a little spacey. Like, and so.
What?
Yeah.
You're spacey?
Oh. I did the scariest thing the other day.
Oh no!
Like it's starting to like worry me a little bit. Like I got,
okay, and I shouldn't make light of it. I shouldn't make.
No, you're
because
fine.
what if
I do? It's okay.
Hey, sorry.
No, you're right.
I take it all back. Let's edit that out.
It's okay.
So I look like less of a bitch, please.
It's fine. I like that we can laugh about it because I laugh about it too. And honestly, I laughed about it with my dad. Like before we knew anything.
Right.
Like he would do silly, wacky stuff.
Sure.
He put his keys in a checked luggage and then checked it and then. And then came out and like tried to drive off to park his car or whatever somewhere else than where he had put the luggage on. And I just have all these stories. And then his keys were like on something getting on a plane and he was trying to couldn't park his car. So there were a lot of things like that the other day. And I'm not afraid to say that I did this because it's hard to know with a lot of moms, and maybe moms can relate, whether you're just overstimulated. Yeah. You have too much going on. I mean, you've said today you have a zillion things on your brain. It's hard to even drive from point A to point B without thinking about 117 different things. And that's mom brain. That's dad brain. It's working parent brain. A lot of people have
busy brain. Yeah.
Busy brain. I got gas the other day. It was part of my errands. I got gas. I went and did a couple more errands. I went and got gas again.
Oh.
And it exploded all over me.
Oh.
And I was like mad at the gas station.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't go in but I was like mad. I was like, why is this what's gas going everywhere?
Yep.
What is this bullshit?
Yeah.
And then I like it clicked and I was like, holy crap. You just did this 10 minutes ago.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I think that probably is. And that's
that's borderline.
It's borderline.
That's borderline.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to have this, like, this is getting a little scary.
Okay.
So anyway, and I had something pop up one of the nights where I was kind of like, couldn't sleep very well. And it was like, do you want to do a study about your brain? And I was like, yes. And so I randomly signed up for something, didn't really remember it, got a call the other day, answered it. I don't normally answer numbers I don't know, but something told me just to like answer it. And it was this company. And they were like, hey, we saw you selected, that you might be interested in blah, blah, blah. I had a good talk with them. And I'm going in tomorrow for a 1-hour screening to do a clinical trial for early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Julie, that's really cool.
I'm really excited about it.
I'm really proud of you for doing it because I think a lot of times we get scared to know and we're just like, it's but I think you're smart to get on it and kind of take a little bit of a leap of faith to see. Yeah. Because you're hoping that nothing's, obviously everything's okay, but also too, best to know now, right? So you can see what you can do to. Yeah, but also scary.
Scary.
Yeah, but exciting.
But exciting. I'm really excited about it because what I learned through my whole like breast cancer experience is that knowledge is power. Yep. And like if I had known that I had this genetic mutation before I got breast cancer, I would have known to be monitoring very closely, which is what my mom is doing now because she knows she is the genetic mutation because I had breast cancer. She had no idea that she was BRCA2 positive. Right. Until then. So I see this as like the same scenario. It's like, okay, this isn't my family. It's my immediate family. My dad passed away from it. And I'm probably even late to the game, but now let's get proactive about it. Whether it's when you're in the middle of the night and you can't sleep and you click on something, or you go, make a point to really lead a charge and go, do something about it. I've found myself here where I'm going to hopefully do this clinical study. So tomorrow I'm going for an hour to like answer a bunch of questions about it and then hopefully get approved. And then move forward with the clinical study. And so as I do it, I definitely want to talk about it. And I told them on the phone, I was like, I have a podcast. Like, I'm happy to talk about this whole experience and help however much I can. Yeah. I think they're getting closer to some sort of cure or at least medicine that will help slow the progression of Alzheimer's. And so it's just kind of going to be one of my new, I don't know, causes or something. Not that I have time for another cause, but it's something I'm excited about. So I wanted to share that with you because that's going down tomorrow. And then next week, I'll hopefully know if I've qualified to take part in the clinical study.
That's super awesome.
I don't even know what it would entail. It's like, do I have to wear a metal helmet around? Like, do I have to go sit in like a room for a week and not talk to anybody? Like, I have no idea. but
we'll see.
I think you get paid maybe a little bit too.
Yeah. They definitely will pay you.
So
for sure.
Yeah. And people turn to these things, it's obviously very important to
it is.
figure these things
Yeah,
out. So
I think you're doing a great thing, both personally and for, for other people that, need answers to this, because it's obviously a huge deal. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I'm glad now to have a little time to be able to work things like this into my day, right?
For sure.
So that's exciting. That's one of my catch-up things. The other one is just that I wanted to tell you that this bow that I'm wearing, I'm trying to bow again.
I see that.
And this is from Anna's junior Dallas Cowboys cheerleader performance.
Okay, I saw this on your socials.
It was just the cutest freaking thing
I know
in the world.
I know.
It was so cute. And they were given these bows and told to wear them Minnie Mouse style, which made me like
right on top of your fucking head.
Right on top of your fucking head, like looking straight up, like this is Minnie Mouse. And it was my first experience with like what it might. I don't think I'm gonna be a dance mom. Like, bless Anna's heart, she loves to dance, but she's just more of a like, I want to feel it in my soul.
She's
like,
a free spirit,
and she's double jointed and like everything does this, and like, she can't do her Texas tease like this, and she loves it, but like she's just more of a hippie dancer.
Yeah, well, but she's still. You never know.
You never know, because
get her in a hip hop class.
She is
okay. Yeah,
but like Anyway, she's great, and she loved it. And it was so cute. But it was my first experience with like dance mom. Like, this is how they have to do it, and you got to be particular. And then you see all the other moms like freaking out, and like,
Dude, I remember when Hattie did dance.
Yeah,
and it was like strict bun, and I'm like, have you seen my child's hair? Like this, that's not even. It's not even possible.
Yeah,
like it would take like.
And there's like tricks to do a secret bun.
I don't know
like
how
pantyhose.
To do anything.
I don't know how
to do anything.
Same.
Like Hattie was this morning was like, will you warm up your straightener for me? I'm like, do you want me to straighten your hair? She's like, no. I just want to use your straightener. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I can't braid. I can't buns. I can't even do a bun in my own hair. Like, I don't know how to do any of this.
I know. And it's sad because then some of their friends will show up with like the coolest hairdos.
Can I tell you what's really sad?
What?
So Hattie went to Graham to see my stepmom, and I've told you about Angie and Cody. So Angie's my stepsister. She's married to Cody. They have 3 grown children that are out of the house. But they love being, they're not like big, huge travelers. They travel every once in a while, but they're like literally like anytime I could call them today and be like, hey, can you take my kids for 2 weeks? And they'd be like, yep, go ahead and send them on, get their bags ready. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
So they're always, and I love it because it's still such a connection to my dad, that I miss him so dearly, obviously, but to be able to have those relationships still remain, almost 8 years after he's died, it is, or maybe more than 8 years, to still be as close with them and for them to love my kids the way that they do is so awesome. And so anyway, they're always like, when can they come? When can they come? When can they come? And so we looked at this weekend, Monday off of school. So I was like, okay, maybe they can come. Well, Henry had a tournament. But I asked Hattie, I'm like, do you want to go to Graham? She's like, absolutely. So they came and watched her flag football game on Saturday. Then they took her back to Graham. So I texted Angie and I said, hey, do you mind if Hattie has a project. They have like a pumpkin decorating contest at school or whatever. And Henry didn't want to do it. He didn't do it. So, and she had this whole vision and she started working on it. And I'm just like, she's like, and I need a big box with 3 sides and I'm going to do this. And I need 4 pumpkins and I was just like, oh, okay. So I helped with the first pumpkin because it's like a whole scene she's doing from Toy Story.
Cool.
So I did the Mr. Potato. I ordered all the supplies.
Okay.
Did that. And then she had the Mr. Potato Head pumpkin. So she's making a pumpkin into a Mr. Potato Head. So
I hope she called him Mr. Pumpkinhead.
She did that. Mr. Pumpkinhead. Okay. So I do the holes, so we did the whole Mr. Potato Pumpkinhead thing. And I'm like, okay, this is so great, honey. And she's like, okay, now we've got more. And then she needs molding clay. And Julie, so I just was like thinking, okay, if she goes to Graham, like this would be the prime time to work on it is this weekend, especially with the day off of school. Because if she comes home, she's going to be, so yes. Okay.
Here's Hattie and she's a project.
So
good luck.
So I'm thinking selfishly, she's going to come back Monday and then we're going to go right into school. And then we have activities all week. And then it's going to be Friday and she's going to be pissed Thursday night.
So you do this forward anxiety thinking planning for your kids too.
My whole That's my
very
whole
thoughtful
MO
of
is
you.
the forward-thinking anxiety.
Yes, I know you do it for you.
Yes.
Like the fact that you've got
Because
to do
I'm
that for everybody.
I'm thinking she's going to be a
Stressful
total
in your
bitch because
head.
she wants it done so specifically, and I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't have a creative bone in my body.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a giant fight, and she's going to be pissed and crying.
And this
and then,
is like all this has happened in your brain when you just saw the assignment come home.
yes, exactly. Like Henry told me he has history fair again this year, and I'm like, didn't we just do this last year? Like, what are we doing? Anyway, so I text Angie and I'm like, hey, would you mind if I sent Hattie's pumpkin project home or to Graham with her so y'all could work on it? I mean, just to get it started.
Yeah.
And it's like what I would do when my dad would come visit me when I was like fresh out of college, and he would come visit me, and I would purposely leave like I'd have to go to work and I'd leave like a list of things, like a to-do list out, like just kind of right there in plain sight where he could see it. Just like, not,
Oh, yeah.
oh, God. And then I'd come home and like all of it would be
super handy.
done. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, Dad, you did not have to
You
do
must have
that.
seen my to-do list.
Did I leave that to-do list on the counter right
it
by
doesn't
your
work
keys?
for husbands as well. It's
No,
just
it doesn't work
dads.
at all on husbands. But yeah, so I would do that with so I was like, just get started, just work on it, just so we don't have so much to do during the week. So I pick her up yesterday, and they had sent a picture to Mike. She didn't send one to me. Julie, this project, people at school are going to be like, Hattie McCoy paid for someone to do that. This is not fair. She should be kicked out of the competition, whatever. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Really?
The most, I'll have to send you a picture.
awesome.
It's a whole Toy Story scene.
Oh my gosh.
There's multiple pumpkins, and there's a Buzz Lightyear flying around. I mean,
maybe we can put a
yes,
picture up.
I'm gonna try to find it right now. So anyway, I'm probably gonna get called out because listen, anybody who's friends with Hattie who knows me, they know I don't have that in me. But Angie said she was like, we had so much fun working on it. She was like, we'd work on it a little bit and then come back to it and work on it a little bit. She was like, she
perfect.
had a blast.
That's perfect. They
So
probably
much
needed
fun.
like some sort of
activity.
activity.
They had a blast, and she came home with the most ridiculous project I've ever seen in my life.
So
It
what
was
does she
so
get if she
cute.
wins?
I have no idea. A big giant pat on the
A
back.
Whataburger
I don't know.
coupon?
A Whataburger coupon. Who knows? But it's
Big
adorable.
Whopper?
I don't. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna send it. Look at this.
Oh my gosh, that
that.
is amazing.
The
Oh,
Slinky dog is a pumpkin butt and a pumpkin head.
and even the pumpkins look so shiny and smooth.
Well, they have to be fake pumpkins. That's part of the rules of the competition.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
It's adorable.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
send it to
perfect
you.
though. Like I think it's perfect to where it doesn't look. It looks really really good. But I don't think anyone's gonna be like she
No.
outsourced.
No,
I think it's the
she
perfect
bought
level.
that. She bought it on Etsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so
That is so
I don't
cute.
know how we got on there. The fact that I'm not creative, can't do hair or whatever. all
Yeah,
the things.
yeah. Well, and that sounds like the perfect scenario because if you hadn't had happened into that, what would have all those other things could have happened? Now that's my life.
Dude, guaranteed it would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my daughter because she's like me. She's gonna want it perfect, and she's gonna want it just the way she wants it. And then when it doesn't happen, she's gonna lose her shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like yesterday with the day off of school because we're all probably coming off of a 2-day break on either side, right?
I only had one.
Oh, we had two.
So we had school on Friday.
Okay, we didn't have school Friday or on Monday for, I guess, 2 options for Fair Day. And there was Columbus Day or whatever. But it's so hard to try and work at all with kids home. And it always ends up in like a messy situation. And yesterday, Kelly took them to Target to buy something to do to occupy themselves. And Anna picked a snow cone machine. I don't know why he thought that she could do that by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in there working like on a call or something. And then I come out, just red snow cone all over her, all over Ryder, all over her white outfit, all over the place. I'm like, what? No.
Okay. Do you remember, did you have the Snoopy snow cone machine?
That's what it was.
Stop it. It's still around?
Yes, it was Snoopy snow cone machine.
Oh my gosh. And you turn the handle?
You turn the handle. But then I actually went and read the directions after everything was destroyed. And it's like 2 ice balls that you make the ice balls and you put them in the freezer for 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
So the kid gets home and they get their thing and they're like, okay. And okay,
but
go sit
here's
there for 6 to 8 hours.
also pro tip: be like, oh, you wanted to play? Okay, well, I'll put the ice in there and then we'll come back to it later. And then they forget.
But then they're like, Mom, what's next?
So as soon as I was talking so good about Angie and Cody, I'm pretty sure so they also too like to troll me as a parent, and they'll like buy like loud shit. Cody's super into hunting, and I think I've told this. Like I would not let my kids go hunting or work with guns or whatever with anyone, but with very few people. Cody is one of them. Like super super safe. Same with my nephews.
Yeah.
But they'll send him home with he's got a bow and arrow. Both kids have a bow and arrow, like a real one, not a nice one. So they do troll me in certain ways, sending home. They sent, this is what I was thinking of, the cotton candy machine. I'm pretty sure that was them who, here's a cotton candy machine, knowing, and they know that, they know I'm crazy. They know I'm OCD, and they
cotton candy in general.
Here's a cotton candy machine.
Cotton candy's the worst. It's for OCD or non-OCD parents.
And I don't want to remind our children. It hasn't been out in quite some time, and I hope it stays that way.
The cotton candy machine?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anna would love that. She just got some cotton candy at the fair the other night, and it was like,
oh yeah, we're
watching it the whole thing.
We're going to the fair.
We are
today after the show. I'm excited. Okay, we need to wrap. We need not wrap, but we need to get through our stuff to make sure that we have time to get to the fair and our friend Jeff Francoeur.
Yes. So let's do a little sports scores.
Yep.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
Brought to us by our friends over at Tylock George Eyecare. I literally think about it a million times a day. Especially when I get in the car to drive at night, especially when I'm rushing out the door. I don't have to say, do I have my glasses? Do I have my prescription sunglasses or any of that? Just hop in the car and go. Getting LASIK has been one of the best things that I've ever done, and it's all thanks to Tylock George Eyecare. They have a lot of life-changing options. They are trusted ophthalmology experts. They also have a great kind of family atmosphere. I went and hung out with them out at the ballpark. They had a night for all of their partners, clients, and everything else, and it was so much fun. Their doctors are super sweet, personable, and they have some really cool stuff going on there with their company. With their procedures, you can see your world clearly from long distance and up close. Get rid of those glasses. You can get custom lens replacement from Tylock George. They do offer, and I don't know that many people realize this, they do offer 24 months interest-free financing with approved credit. So if you think that finances are a barrier for seeing clearly, they might not be. So just give them a call. Tell them about your situation, and they will tell you what they can do to help. Go to tylock.com. If you can call them if you want, or you can just head to the website first, tylock.com. Mention the mom game. If you're on the phone, if you're on the website, make sure to go to tylock.com/TMG. That is our exclusive code. It also comes with a special discount for your procedure. So tylock.com/TMG, or pick up the phone, give them a call, and say you heard about them here on the mom game.
Yeah, and something for everyone. You had the LASIK because you got those young eyes, and my old ass eyes got the contact lens replacement, which means also, too, I will avoid cataract surgery later on in my life. Which
2 for 1.
2 for 1 for this girl. Okay, can we just say the Cowboys are a giant disaster? I can't talk about them anymore. I can't hear about them anymore. I can't talk about them anymore. I love them. They're a disaster.
It hurts especially more because Dak just got paid so much. And
I know. And so did CD.
And I get it, why it had to happen.
It's all part of the business. I get it. Right.
It makes it that much. It's like adding insult to injury because it's just almost comical at this point.
Because then it's like, how hamstrung are you? And I don't know enough about let's be real. I don't know shit about the salary cap, and I'm not looking at who you can add to your roster. I just am a fan of the Cowboys. I want them to win. And we were at a tournament. Henry had a tournament this weekend. And so he had a game at 10, and then if he won, he'd play at 2. If he played again, he'd play at 4. And so I was like, oh, we're going to miss the Cowboys game. And then it was like literally 5 minutes. When they kicked the field goal, so I was not watching on my phone, but keeping up with it on NF game something.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was like, okay, they're moving, they're driving. As soon as they kicked the first field goal, I was like, there's no way. They're not winning this.
Yeah.
Because you have to score touchdowns.
They never scored a touchdown, right?
They don't know.
Yeah.
3 field
lost
goals.
By 47.
I don't know. 843.
I mean, terrible by Detroit. Dak got completely outplayed by Jared Goff, which, I mean,
And then
he's
Dan
not nothing. He's always been good.
and
Dan Campbell coming in and
I
stomping
love
on
Dan
him.
Campbell. I know I when I covered the Cowboys for a hot second, Dan was one of my favorite people to talk to, and so I love to see him doing well as a coach. And he was just flat trolling the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And whatever. That's your prerogative for
Yeah.
sure. But he's a perfect fit for Detroit. And I really do dig Dan Campbell. I remember when I had a fantasy football team, I drafted Dan Campbell and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I mean, every team needs a good locker room guy.
In my fantasy football locker room. In the virtual locker room.
Thank you very much for recognizing how awesome I am as a GM.
Yes, very awesome.
So yeah, they're a disaster. Bye week this week, praise God, to give everybody a break. College football, I'm going to Tech this weekend.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Lubbock, watch the Baylor game, hang with some friends.
Yeah.
Henry's going with. Hattie's staying here because it's the 5th grade carnival. It's her last one. She doesn't want to miss. So
that'll be fun.
I'm excited.
What's your 24 hours or whatever it is like when you go there?
So we'll leave Friday around noon. We'll pull Henry from school so we can just at least get there by like dinner and enjoy ourselves. And then I'll just stay at my girlfriend Heather's house.
Mm-hmm.
We might try to like go see some people or figure out where people are gathering. And then we'll tailgate. I think it's a 2:30 kick. We'll tailgate a little bit. I did text Joey McGuire. I was like, "Hey, is it too late?
What kind of fancy shit are you pulling
I
off on
said,
this trip?
"Is it if it's?" I said, "I know it's because it's sold out." I'm like, if it's too big of a disaster, whip, do not worry about it. But if Henry and I could get down on the sidelines, let me know. So I'm supposed to text him on Thursday. Well, I mean, but also too, I don't want to be annoying. I mean, they're doing really well. They're first place in the Big 12, and they haven't been beaten in the Big 12.
What about like the head SID or whatever?
I know I could, but I don't know. So anyway, I just texted him to see. But anyway, we'll sit in there. My friends Chad and Heather have a suite, so we'll sit with them and just enjoy. Yeah. And then good thing Hattie isn't going with us in that one regard because she has softball practice on Sunday, and I thought we were gonna have to like get up at the butt crack and get our asses back so she wouldn't miss practice because she already missed last week. But she's not going, so.
Good.
Anyway, so yeah, it'll be fun, and I'm excited to see, and hopefully we continue to play well. They're a little, can't quite figure out exactly who they are. I mean, because they almost got beat by Abilene Christian, and then they got boat raced by Washington State. But since then, they've been pretty steady. They haven't played a ton of
Sometimes
terrible.
those bad early losses can be a good thing.
For sure. Oh yeah. Get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, I always love going home. Like I love going back to West Texas. It's my place. The people are awesome, and I enjoy going back home. So I'm excited about that. And I get to see my sister's actually coming in from Virginia to visit her kids.
Oh,
so she'll be in Lubbock. I get to see my niece and my nephew. And then next weekend I'll get to see my niece and nephew again because they're coming to Fort Worth for the Tech TCU game.
Oh
so
gosh. Oh,
yeah.
And you're going to go to that one too?
Yeah.
Go to 2 in a row.
I'm
missing college
I
football
love
games in person in my life.
So I love this. Not that I love not being in the playoffs, but I have thoroughly enjoyed like Saturday Henry had early games. We came home, we cooked out, watched. There was so much good football on Saturday. It's just so fun. And so I love this little mix of getting to go to some games and watch a shit ton of games at home, just chilling out. So I love college football season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super fun.
I always wish I'd gone somewhere closer.
I know.
For that reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's fun to have friends kind of all around to go hop on a plane and go visit too. So,
For sure.
And Mizzou won. They beat someone really bad, but we needed a win after that bad loss last week to A&M. So we're still ranked.
Yeah.
We're still hanging in there. And then, of course, the big news around here was Texas OU. And Texas just totally dominating OU
really
in that game. They're really good, and it's really weird.
Because it pains me.
It's really weird. It's just like they haven't been that good, number one, in a long time.
And they're really good. It's not just, there's certain programs that are down this year, but I don't care. They're good. They're effing good.
Yeah. It's good for them. It's good for Texas. It's good for everything. I'm from Austin. I've got a lot of Texas people. My best friend was there.
I know. Yeah.
It's fun.
But there are some fans, just like in every fan base, there are some fans. Oh my gosh. But I feel like
they're not being as obnoxious.
Same. What's happening?
Because
are they
they're
scared?
scared.
They're scared.
They've had this happen so many times where they think they're good and then they have a really bad loss and then they get a whole bunch of crap because they were
cocky and
they were cocky and they were gloating and everything. And so I think it's been a good thing for their fan base.
Yeah.
I talked to a diehard guy yesterday, and that's exactly what he said. He was like, I'm just not getting too excited.
Everybody's holding their breath.
Number one, but like, I'm not.
Well, and they do still have a tougher schedule coming up. I mean, they have played some team, but but I agree. I think there's
well, anytime you beat OU like that, because OU's kind of the same, where they think they're hot shit and they gloat and they're hardcore. I know because I'm married to one of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We always go back and forth about OU and Mizzou and everything else. So, but that was big, and Dallas was just like so fun.
Yeah.
You could tell there was a lot going on last weekend, and it's always a fun time for this city. And one of the times that I think it's really cool and fun to live here.
It is.
The big national spotlight's on us, and we still do have one more week of the fair, thankfully.
Yes, and we'll be out there in just a few hours.
We will.
Okay, quick hits as far as sports. Stars 3-0 start. They are rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling. They had back-to-back games.
They've even had injuries already early in the season, and they're still crushing.
Yeah. They're doing really well. Jake Ottinger's doing really well. I love that in their first home game, Tyler had 2 goals. Jamie had 1 goal. So it's like the
old guys are like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We got to do it quick.
Steering the ship. And that's just a really good sign for a lot of reasons, because you do have so many young guys that are good right now. And so you have Tyler and Jamie like playing, not on the top line. And when you can have that contribution from your veteran leaders that are on a second, third line kind of thing, then that makes your top players that much better and relieve a little pressure from them to get the job done and get on the score sheet and all of that. Sounds like our backup goaltender is really good too. So I don't really know much about him, but he got a good win in, I think it was game 3. So just like what I just said, with the top line feeling a little bit of pressure coming off when your second, your third line can score, same with the top goaltender. So when you have a good backup goaltender, then the number 1 goaltender can breathe a little easier and know that it's okay for him to make a mistake. So it's just, you want a good deep team, and they're trying to make up for Joe Pavelski is gone. He retired. He's not there. And they signed Matt Dumba, former Minnesota Wild guy that we all hated.
Yeah.
He took out Joe Pavelski in a playoff game. Oh, I hated him. So I'm still not sure how I feel about that, but he's one of the ones who got injured early on in the season. So anyway,
and when you have early success like that, it's like it reinforces like everything that the coaching staff has told you, everything that you did in training camp, all that kind of stuff. It's just there's so much benefit in getting off to a fast start.
Yeah,
and so
validates your good preseason too.
For sure.
Like, because you can say, oh, it's just preseason, but then you've won a few games out of the gates in the regular season, and you're like, okay, we are pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's fun, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this season, and then Mavs, of course, starting up soon too, and it'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, they've struggled in the preseason, but I don't put any stock in preseason, so we'll see how they do once they get started off. MLB playoffs, obviously nothing happening right now except for the playoffs, so no news with the Rangers except for the fact that Josh Young had wrist surgery again on the same wrist. So I did text him. I'm like, because I told you he gets like super grumpy. He's injured, but it's not in season. So it's
he with woman.
He had a girlfriend last season. She was adorable, but I don't know. Yeah. Nor do I feel like I should probably talk about him having a girl. I don't know. It was. I
wonder, because usually a woman will help if you're grumpy because you're hurt.
Well, I think I say that, and I joked with him. So I texted him, I'm like, how are you doing? He's like, I'm fine. And, we text back and forth, and I was, asked about recovery time, and it seemed fairly reasonable. He's not going to miss any time. Everything should be fine. So I was like, oh, good. So you'll only be grumpy for 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, really? And, whatever. So that stinks. Hopefully he's got everything hopefully that shit is figured out to where, he just has had such terrible luck.
He's a huge part of this thing. You want to see what this Rangers team can
do with him.
All these dang injuries.
Exactly. So playoffs, we were down to 4, Guardians, Yankees, and Mets, Dodgers. Yeah.
So,
so fun. It's a fun playoff.
Has to be excited too about
the only, So because they're in good shape regardless, unless, whatever. They're not rooting for anyone allegedly, but the Guardians would be the lesser draw.
That Travis Kelce's a fan. He showed up with Taylor.
He's
is he a Cleveland guy?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Is he from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Cleveland.
He went to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
From Cleveland, went to Cincinnati.
Oh,
Okay.
well, he's an Ohio guy. I guess
Ohio.
I'm not exactly sure where in Ohio.
Okay.
But he's an
Ohio guy.
Yes, he's an
Got
Ohio
it.
guy.
I knew he went to Cincinnati,
Yeah.
but I don't know where he grew up.
Yeah.
Okay, but I
So,
did
yeah,
see.
I
I
think
did see that they were there.
They were there.
Okay, so one quick not deviant.
Deviation?
Deviation. Deviant is like if you're like doing bad shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devil.
Deviation. So Hattie gets in the car when I picked her up from Graham on Monday, and she goes, "I'm so over the Cowboys. They're terrible." And I was like, "You're watching? Got some hot sports opinions here, my 11-year-old daughter."
That's when you start rolling.
Yeah, okay, I know I should have. And she was like, "I'm just so tired of watching them. They're just so terrible." And I was like, "Okay, well." She goes, "But the Chiefs won." And I was like, "Yep, they did." She was like, "Yeah, they're undefeated." And I was like, "Yeah, they are."
Chiefs are the
She's like,
team
"I
of the
mean,
kids.
and when is Andy Reid going to retire?" And I'm like, "Oh, who are you?" Like, and I was like, "I don't know." She was like, "I mean, how old is he?" And I was like, "I don't know." She was like, "I mean, if he's 72, that's the same age as like Bill Belichick or something." And I was like, "What
Wow.
in the world is actually happening?"
Yeah.
So then she looks it up on her phone. She's like, "No, he's only 60 or whatever." And I was like, "Who are you? And what did you do with my daughter?"
Amazing.
Oh yeah. She got in and was like, down on the Cowboys, up on the Chiefs, wanting to know when Andy Reid's going to retire.
Do you think the flag football playing is like
okay, I think so. And people who have Taylor Swift tired head just turn down for a minute.
I think our audience is cool.
You cannot deny there is zero chance a year ago my child would have gotten in a car. My 11-year-old daughter at the time would have been 10, talking about the Cowboys, wanting to play flag football, asking about the Chiefs and Andy Reid. Like, there's just zero chance. And let me tell you something. My girl is a fucking baller. I know I don't just brag about my kids and their sports.
She is?
She had she's a stealth defender.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
2 pick sixes last
Cornerback?
game. I mean, do we really
Something
have
like
positions?
that?
Yeah, defense, like secondary.
General defense.
So she loves flag football.
Oh, that's awesome.
She loves it. And talk about adorable. You're talking about Anna, at Cowboy Stadium. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's so cute. And they get so into it. Anyway, it's super, super fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I think Anna would like it too.
Oh, it's so fun. And this is all NFL sponsored. Like, it's not, I mean, listen, we're still paying for it. But it's like a program. It's an NFL program.
Oh, cool.
Trying to bring, I mean, it wasn't like this happened.
Are they getting ready for the big shift?
I don't know. What do you mean?
I don't know. I just feel like with all the brain injuries and stuff, we might be looking at
more flag football.
More flag football. It's going to be in the Olympics.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if you're right. There was a shift I didn't know about. Like
no.
Okay, I didn't know.
I just kind of made that up. Like, football's going to end.
I thought you were like
going to have flag football in like 20 years because some people are going
to
be playing about it.
No, that makes perfect sense. Not where my brain went, which is like that they were getting ready for Travis and Taylor to break up, and so they need to bring in the girls while they can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where my brain went.
Okay.
So obviously I'm dealing with
Your
issues.
busy brain.
Okay.
But Taylor and Travis are not breaking up.
They haven't broken up.
They're so in love.
They're so in love, and they're going to get
married. And she's sporty now. It's so fun.
So sporty. I mean, she is
baseball game.
She does overcheer. Like, she needs to
because she's combining brand new sports fandom and love.
Okay.
And she loves hard.
Okay.
That's how she writes all these songs. It's because of love.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I agree. She's over cheering, but I'm saying why.
Okay.
Because, like, can you imagine being a new sports fan? And, like, we love sports. And so you're just now experiencing it for the first time. Like, being and then the person you're freaking obsessed with, you've written albums and albums and albums about love and trying to find the right guy. And he's on the field playing the sport. Like, yeah, she's fucking insane when she watches the games, and I love it. Like, there was one point, like, I think they threw an interception, or like someone caught it and then dropped a pass, and they zoomed in on her, and you could see her mouthing, "I'm gonna effing kill myself."
Oh my gosh. I thought you were gonna say something else.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But
she was so mad that the Chiefs dropped a pass.
Oh.
It wasn't even Travis.
Okay.
"I'm gonna effing kill myself."
I thought you were. Okay, I again, mind went in another direction with the F word.
She's insane watching games. It's really fun though.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're. The love you have for Taylor Swift is just something to behold.
Late in life, Taylor Swift.
I know.
Fan.
I love it. Love it. No, I'm a fan too. You're next level and I love it. And I'm happy for you that you have found her.
I just think it's cool because I love sports.
Yeah.
And I love her and I love seeing her love sports.
Yes.
How about that?
And I could give two shits of who she endorses for president, just FYI, before we get anything on that. Who cares? Just like I don't care who any singer or entertainer or athlete. I don't care who anyone endorses for president. Who cares? And why would you? Why would anyone care? Who cares? Whatever. Okay. Let's move on to what's on your feed, brought to us by our friends at Audrie Dollins Media. So we have been working with Audrie Dollins Media for the last several weeks, and it's been so nice because she basically, we reached out and said, look, we've done all we can do on, marketing, brand wise, help us build. I mean, we've done it on our own for the last 4+ years with the help of
and especially
Adam and
LTK
Ashley.
stuff.
Yes. Right. All the stuff. And so she's like, this is what we do. So they basically just come in and they're like, this is what we offer. This is what we can do. And they basically just run stuff. We tell them, we need this many, we need social posts and engagements with these partners as part of our contracts that we want to make sure we do not even just do a good job. We want to do a great job. We don't want to just do my half-ass pictures and stuff like that, which there's some of those still like that, whatever, that you can tell it's what I did. But then they do make sure that our partners are getting value in being a sponsor of the Mom Game. And so they're helping us with that and our personal brands, all that kind of stuff. And so if you're a business, if you're even trying to be an influencer or anything like that, like if you're looking for someone to kind of manage and build a brand for you and continue to help it grow, Audrie Dollins Media is the place to go. And they've been great for us. And we look forward to continuing a long relationship with them, but they're great, and getting involved in the Do It for Durrett Foundation event, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but yeah, super grateful for them. They're awesome. And it's audriedollinsmedia.com, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mention you heard about us about them on the Mom Game. So they'll know.
AudrieDollins.com.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's
Audrie
what
Dollins. AudrieDollins.com.
Yeah. You can find them on social media. They're great. So yes, thank you to Audrie Dollins Media, also known as ADM. And one of the things on our feed of late that you sent to me, and I actually had it sent to me by a couple of different people, was a clip from Kristen Bell, who is in that new show, Nobody Wants This, who I already breezed through season 1. It's adorable. Highly recommend it. It has Adam Brody.
Okay, I was going to say,
remember?
is that
Yes,
the one
we talked about it.
She's been doing a lot of press for that. And that's probably where this came from.
Probably where it came from. But she had this really great clip, I think, that went a little bit viral, talking about friendships and kind of what she looks for in a friend and how she kind of structures those, especially at this age, which is basically close to where we are. Here it is.
I would say that I'm friends with a lot of people, but as far as the ones I keep close, they're two different groups. I can have fun with anyone, but opening up to people, I guess, is a little bit different. I think I look for people who are honest, and I like solutions people. It's not that I don't mind venting, because I'll vent. I like it when my girlfriends vent to me. But overall, I like to be on the same page with someone where ultimately at the end of a venting session in a friendship, we can both zoom out and go, also, none of this matters. Or also, let's just give that person the benefit of the doubt. I like people that give other people the benefit of the doubt. I gravitate towards people who, even if they've been hurt, choose not to hurt other people in the same way, because they're breaking a cycle. Also, I got that from Viola Davis's Instagram, which is basically my therapist.
So many things that are such gold.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I feel like there are a lot of similarities in as far as the way I view friendship and that kind of stuff. In what she said, and I think the when she brought up honest, like that's, I feel like sometimes there are friendships that you have that you're just kind of, you're in the baby pool, is how I've said it before. I'm in the baby pool, and maybe even like, the 4.5 foot water with a lot of people. There's only a handful of people that I'm in the deep end with, that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the friendships that you crave and that you want, but you realize, I think you come to realize, at a certain age, that those can't exist in every friendship. You can't be in the deep end with everyone. And nor would I don't think you would want to. I think that's why you treasure those deep end friendships so much. The honesty part. I think one thing I would add with mine is like the non-judgmental part, because I feel like I bring certain things to the table that if I'm being vulnerable and whatever, that I don't. Can you love me even telling you all these crazy things about me? Will you not judge me or think less of me for, doing dumb shit that probably doesn't matter, but makes my brain, and my whole psyche okay, if that makes sense, So yeah, I think it's a great like little snippet of the way a lot of, especially women are, and probably men too, at this stage of our lives when you're in that kind of middle-aged phase.
Yeah, I think so too. And just the whole concept of making friends when you are an adult, when you are a mom, when you are busy, like that's my challenge. And I love how she kind of broke it down. It's like, yeah, I can go have fun with anybody. I can go out, I can go have drinks, I can go have fun. But it's those like real friendships that you really come to treasure. And then from getting from one to the other can be a little tricky. Yeah. It can be hard. And especially when you're entering say an elementary school situation with 1,000 new moms all at once, and everyone's trying to figure out their groups. And then you find those certain people where you can just sit down and kind of, like you said, jump into the deep end. Maybe you already know each other, your kids are friends, and you've been in the shallow end for a couple years. And I had like a breakthrough dinner with some moms like that, and it was just like so refreshing. It was like, let's talk about real shit that matters, and like where you're at in life and where I'm at life, and like almost that's the thing with our age. Sometimes it quickly turns into a therapy session.
Oh, for sure.
And
I think every group of friends. I mean, I've got my baseball girlfriends that I'm really tight with. We talk a lot of professional stuff. We do talk personal stuff too, but I've got my group of, there's 5 of us, and we literally talk about everything, and it's a very safe space. Yeah. For the good and the bad. I mean, there'll be times when I'll be like, we've talked about posting on social media about your kids, sports and all that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about it more with Jeff Francoeur in a minute. But, that's, and I do it with my baseball girlfriends too, actually, that I'll be like, Mom, can I brag on my kid for a minute? And, and I'll say whatever. I mean, Henry got whatever. But then the next minute I could be like, and can I get some no judgment, and, can I be a bitch for a minute? Yeah. And be like, have to where it's everything's safe. Like, and even if I am too big of a bitch, or if I'm too braggy, I mean, they always give me grace. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you're looking for in a friend. That would be one thing I would say is like people, I try to surround myself with people and let those people in who I know will grant me grace because they know who I am at my core. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you want to be at a place where you can surround yourself with people where you can just 100% be yourself. Yeah. And that's where it gets a little hairy, because you can't sometimes do that with a new friend. Yeah. You got to get to that point. Yeah. And I liked what she said about like finding like solutions people. Yeah. And being able to vent, and then also being able to like step back and say, okay, I realize like we're venting about silly stuff about little Johnny's school thing, and step back and say none of this matters. Right. Like, it's okay to have the conversation and vent about it, but then realize none of this matters. Yeah. And like that's huge.
Yes. I remember when we talked a little bit about like the Little League drama from last year with one of my girlfriends and the team and surrounding it and whatever. And I mean, it was always like, what's going on and what's happening, whatever. And then like every once in a while we'd be like, and this is all really dumb because it's about we're talking about a bunch of 12-year-olds playing baseball. I mean, we would all kind of just like check it there and be like, okay, well, thanks for the update, but this is all, kind of in the grand scheme of things, none of this matters. Same way with the vast majority of things we talk about. But the fact that you can have a sounding board with people, and that you have that comfort level to where you're like, okay, this may come off the wrong way, whether it's good or bad, but I feel so comfortable sharing that with this group of people because they know who I am, that and they know that I'm talking about certain things because I want their feedback.
Yeah.
And honestly, like sometimes I'm trying to be not educated, but can someone give me a different perspective? Like, what am I not seeing here? And I'll do that a lot of times with my friends. Like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but am I missing something here? Why am I so triggered by this? And no one else seems to be. And then they'll be like, because you're overreacting, and this is why. And it's like, okay, but if you don't have friends who can keep you in check, if you don't have friends who can call you out, if you don't have friends that will talk to you openly and honestly without any sort of fear of ramification or worried about what toll it's going to take on your friendship, if you don't have those friends, you're really missing out. If you surround yourself by people who are constantly telling you how great you are and how awesome you are and how right you are about everything, man, that's you're not getting a whole lot from that. I mean, that's just not. I don't know. That's to me. That's not what a friend. Yeah, it's not what a friendship should be. Like, and I mean, my group of friends, and it's with, like I said, those two close groups I have. I mean, like we clown each other all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend Tara, who we've had on the show, who has Charlotte, who has Down syndrome. We had her on to talk about that, and she's known as the nice one in the group. And the other day I said something and she was like, "Oh, are you going to whore yourself out for some makeup line now?" And I was like, "Oh, damn. Tara coming from the top rope." Like, okay. Didn't realize I was whoring myself out. And she was like, "Oh, I'm kidding." And then she's like, "I'm kidding." And I'm like, "No, of course I know you're kidding."
Yeah.
Like, if you can't give each other, and that's maybe the most valuable lesson I ever learned in a big league clubhouse, that if you're not catching shit, it's because they're not comfortable around you.
Yeah.
If you're not catching shit, if everyone's just nice and smiling and saying nice things to you all the time, you're not, and that's fine, but you're just not, you're not on that level. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the highest I just learned, if you are getting shit, if they are completely dishing it out, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That means they're comfortable, and that means they feel like you can handle it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a long diatribe, but
no,
anyway.
Yeah, and it's important. And like we talk about the busy brain thing, it's hard sometimes to find friends that you can. We are busy. There's a lot going in my brain. Sometimes it is hard for me to just go sit down and be like, "Yes, Johnny, and how's this teacher? And how's the small talk?"
Oh my gosh.
Is hard.
Can you believe this cold front coming in? It's going to finally be fall, y'all. It's going to be so awesome. I've just been waiting for this. I mean, these temperatures. Woo! Look at the forecast.
Like, I gotta go.
I know.
But you don't want to be a bitch, but you do want to make friends, and so it is all hard for everybody. And that's why I think what she said is valuable.
It's awesome. And prime example. So I thought one of my girls in my Fort Worth text string had sent me the same clip you did. Mm-hmm. So this morning I was trying to find it. So I text them all and I'm like, "Hey, where is that Kristen Bell clip y'all somebody sent?" And everybody's like, don't remember. And then my sweet friend Jessica's like, "Got you." And she found it. She's like, it's not on Instagram, but it was on YouTube. And I was like, you're the best. Thank you so much. But it's like, and then I made the comment of, so this is why I keep everyone updated on Instagram Reels. This is why my job is so valuable in our friend group, because I will send you guys all the awesome Reels.
Yes.
So,
it is important.
And it's knowing, and a lot of that comes with, I think, in order to foster those relationships, you also have to be really in tune with yourself and really okay with how effed up you are and all your flaws, and embracing the things that you do well and being okay with the things that you don't.
Yeah. And it's hard sometimes to start over when you have those friendships from lifelong, mm-hmm. and then you start fresh as a and
they don't,
or
and
later in life.
Yeah, they don't happen. You can't plan them, and you can't arrange them. They just happen, and when they happen, it happens very organically.
Yeah,
it's part of it.
Yeah,
but it's definitely different.
It is.
Making friends as a 30-something or a 40-something.
Mm-hmm. And it's also okay to go sit in the hot tub alone and drink wine and look at Instagram.
Sure, absolutely.
Have fun alone.
And let all those friends know about these kick-ass reels you're sending them. I mean, come on. Can't just keep this all to myself. I got to share it with you.
Yes.
It's so amazing.
And it's also fun. Just have fun with your kids.
Yeah.
I had a few margaritas the other night that were way stronger than I bargained for. And I was home, like we got home at like 7 and it was just me and Anna, and Kelly came home. We were like all around the pool. We were flopping all around. We were like floating around the pool, having like the best time of our lives in the hot tub and everything else. He was like, y'all are having fun. I was like, Anna and I are just having the time of our lives. And I had a great time.
Good for you. Just have a couple margs and let loose,
You don't even
girl.
have to be with your
No,
girlfriend.
yeah, just your daughter.
I mean, I was before, but then the party ended and it was like 7.
And you're like, oh,
Well, let's go swimming.
let's go.
Whatever brings you joy at this point in life, right?
Exactly.
Whatever brings you joy.
Okay, glad we finally got to watch that clip and react to it.
It was in
fun.
our tackle box.
It was in our tackle box. We can take that out of the tackle box, take the hook out, and take it out of the tackle box.
A couple of things on the news desk, and then we will
Get to Jeff Francoeur.
We got to Jeff Francoeur, our guest. On the news desk, what is happening in Mom Game World, brought to us by our friends over at Ownwell. Ownwell, you're going to want to remember this name because right now is when those property tax bills are going to be hitting your mailbox and it's going to stress you out. Ownwell will help you. If you own a home, they will help you save on those property taxes. You don't have to spend hours filing your property tax appeal or preparing for an in-person hearing and losing that appeal anyways. These people are pros. They know what to do. They have their relationships already built. They are experts. You can sign up in 3 minutes with Ownwell. They will do all of that and more for you at no upfront cost. They are tax experts. Their deep county level relationships will help achieve an industry high 86% appeal win rate and average savings of $1,148 for their customers. That is a lot. And this is something you might not be even partaking in because you didn't know about it and you're just paying it. So make sure that you stop down when those bills come in. Head over to Ownwell.com, and we do have our own specific landing page for this. It is ownwell.com/partners/themomgame. And you can just type in your address and you can see an estimate of what Ownwell can save you, and you will not pay anything until they save you money on your property taxes. And then they take a little bit of the money that they saved you to pay themselves. You get all the rest. It's a win-win. Join the hundreds of thousands of homeowners and investors who trust Ownwell to save them money on their property taxes every year. They have a 4.7 out of 5 Google review rating and an A+ accreditation on Better Business Bureau. They do all the work for you. Those are the magic words while you sit back and you just watch those savings roll in. One more time, it is ownwell.com/partners/themomgame.
Yay, Ownwell. So before we get to Jeff Francoeur, just a couple things on the news desk to pass along with our TMG happenings.
Yes.
I know there's a cool thing with Halloween coming up at Globe Life Field.
There is. This is on Sunday, October 27th. I am hopefully going to be able to go with the kids because we did go to the family fun day, field day out at Globe Life Field a while back and had so much fun. My kids still talk about it. This is their first ever Halloween festival. And I know moms are always looking for fun Halloween activities for their kids. So this one you can combine your love for the Rangers and Halloween. Get your costumes, bring the whole family. There's going to be trick-or-treat stations, face painting, yard games, and so much more at the home of the Texas Rangers and Emily's second home. Tickets are $25 for adults, $15 for kids ages 4 through 14. It is free if you have a child that is 3 or younger. And there is a discount code you can use that is SPOOKY in all caps. Use the code SPOOKY at checkout for an exclusive discount offer. globelifefield.com/Halloween for tickets and more information on that one and your big ones coming up.
Yes. The Do It for Dirt event, November 8th. We've got golf at Grapevine Golf Club, sorry. And then Josh Abbott Band that evening at Texas Live. Super excited about this. It is our 10th year. I am the president of the Do It for Dirt Foundation. It's one of my proudest accomplishments as a human being outside of being a mom. I just am so proud of the work that this foundation does. We are small. We are mighty. We are completely funded by the donations of those who support us. We have raised more than $2 million and helped more than 250 families who have been affected by sudden loss, inspired by my friend and former colleague, Richard Durrett, who passed away suddenly 10 years ago. is his widow's desire was to continue the good work of this foundation after we had a fundraiser for her. Anyway, it's just a really good cause. It's going to be a really kick-ass time. Golf, like I said, at Grapevine Golf Club in the morning. And then we have the event at Texas Live that night with Josh Abbott band. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. We need to sell tickets. We need to sell golf spots. We need to sell sponsorships. We need as many people there supporting us as possible. We need everything. If you want to just donate, please reach out to me. Our website is doitfordurit.com. I've got links posted on my social media. It really is such an important cause. The board makes zero money. Every penny we make is passed on to the families that we help. And so if you can find it in your heart to help us, I would so appreciate it. I would love for you to come out to the golf, to the concert, to both. We're going to have a ridiculous auction that has so many insane experiences. You can bid on getting hitting lessons from Elvis Andrews.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's an all-star weekend in there. We've got a Rangers suite. We've got so many country music artists that have supported us over the years, giving experiences, guitars, it's just the auction's insane. So anyway, if you can find it in your heart to help a cause, I know there are so many worthy ones out there. I would so appreciate your support of the Do It for Durit Foundation. Just reach out to me on the Mom Game accounts. Reach out to me directly on my social accounts. I will hook you up with whatever it is information-wise that you need to be a part of a very special event on November 8th. Do It for Durit, a decade of giving. So thanks for that.
Awesome. Can't wait to go. And just a fun thing to gift for your husbands. If you're a wife and he wants to go golfing one day, say, here, I bought you a foursome at Do It for Durit.
Love it.
Not the foursome he might be looking for,
Whoa.
but a different one. I don't know. Are they? I don't know. That's probably too many.
Yeah, it's way too many. And we are so excited, as we mentioned earlier in the show, to have an old buddy of mine and commentator now for Turner Sports, calling the American League Championship Series in Major League Baseball, the playoffs right now. So kind of him to take some time out of his busy schedule. He is Jeff Francoeur, the former Ranger, with us for those magical runs in the 2010 season, I think is my most vivid memory, Frenchie. Of that team, and you were a big part of it, and it was a lot of fun. We're going to talk to you about a bunch of different things, not just sports and baseball, but also some cool things you're doing on the parenting front, especially in the sports realm. So thanks for being with us. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. You know, it was funny. We actually were going over a bunch of notes with the Yankees and saying they're 0 and they've lost their last 5 ALCS. And I remember thinking, yep, I was part of one of those in 2010, which was a lot of fun for us. But, it was so much fun that year. And of course, just what you do and keeping up with you all these years, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. One memory I want to share, Jeff, caught between Jeff and Frenchie.
Yeah, that's all right.
French Jeff.
French Jeff. So I always, up until we won the World Series last year, people would always ask, what's your favorite memory? And it would always be the clinch in 2010 in Oakland. That was by far, up until winning the World Series, was my favorite moment of my career. What do you remember about that day when we clinched in Oakland? And then, of course, the ensuing night playing beer pong where everyone was there. It was so much fun.
Well, I was going to say, I think more vividly than anything, I remember John Daniels being my beer pong partner at 3 a.m, wherever we were in San Francisco that night. It was so much fun, though. And for me, it was great because I'd known Michael Young, Ian Kinsler, a lot of these guys for a long time. So when I did come over, Elvis with the Braves when he came up. So it was comfortable for me. And of course, Wash and that whole staff with Clint Hurdle. It was such a fun ride. Darren Oliver, it was just a great group of guys.
Yeah. And one more thing, if I remember correctly, we had a day game the next day.
Yeah.
And I hope this is okay to share, but I remember having a conversation with you before the game, and you were like, dude, if I get on, I'm probably going to puke. And I think you crushed it. Didn't you crush it that next day?
I had one of the best. So funny enough, yes, I have to admit, I threw up in the bathroom about 45 minutes before the game in that little toilet there. And I remember actually talking to my dad because Wash I was like at the middle of my career, right? So I wasn't a rookie, but I wasn't a veteran to Mikey and those guys yet. So actually, I remember Wash saying, Frenchie, you need a DH today. Thank God, because there's no way I could have ran in the outfield. And yes, it was a really rough. We had a 1:00 start, and I went 4 for 6 with a home run and 2 doubles off Trevor Cahill. And I remember even Wash saying, "Man, you might need to do this more often before you play." It calmed me down. But if you remember, I think we scored like 16 runs that day. Mitch Moreland hit 2 home runs. I mean, it was like, I think the best game we had played the whole year. And of course, everybody had been out till like 5 a.m.
Oh, it was nuts. It was, and I always say there'll never be another time like that, because now it's just different. It's right. The game has changed. It's different. It's part of it. It's evolution. But like that first time for that team, that organization, front office, players, media, anybody that was in Oakland to cover that game, everybody went to that bar in San Francisco. And I think it was Brandon McCarthy who rented it out for us or did whatever. Yep. And then everybody just had a blast.
Yeah, it didn't matter who you were. I mean, it was like writers were there, I think, from the media too. It didn't matter. Everybody was just having a good time. And actually, it's funny, we do talk because times have changed, because Stephen Vogt yesterday was kind of like, times have changed when everybody yesterday showed up the field and they were good to go. No one was hungover. And he's like, I wanted to be like, did you guys not celebrate last night winning Game 5 of the ALDS? And he's just like, you're right. Times have changed, And Stephen was like, I probably actually drank the most beer out of anybody, and I'm the manager.
Jeff, Julie here, Emily's partner in crime. I think I knew you a little bit way back when too. So how has the transition gone, I guess, into broadcasting now, jumping in at a very high level as an analyst and doing a playoff game just last night, hopping on with us today here on the Mom Game. Thank you, by the way, for that. How has it gone for you transitioning to talking for a living?
It's so funny because people always ask, like, did you ever think you wanted to do this? And I really didn't. Like, even as I came towards the end of my career, but I remember, I was with the Phillies in 15, and Tom McCarthy, who I love, T-Mac, he's one of my favorite guys in baseball. And we were just having a talk on the plane one day, and he's like, when you get done, man, you should think about doing this. You're well-spoken, the game, you have a lot of relationships. And at that point, right, I think it's so hard because any player wants to be like, no, I'm going to keep playing. I'm not close to the end of my career. And it was so funny because the next year it just kind of started happening. And in 2017, me and my wife, Katie, had 2 kids. We had another one on the way. And I remember thinking, like, God, do I want to keep traveling, keep doing this, the grind of spring training? And funny enough, the Braves called and they were like, would you like to do a few games, and just kind of get your feet wet? And it kind of intrigued me. And so I did it, in 17, 18, just a little bit. And then in 19, I got the full-time gig with the Braves to do like 100, 110 games because I could not see myself doing 160 like some of these guys do. And then obviously TBS kind of just in August, I remember they called me and said, would you like to do the wild card game with Ernie Johnson? And growing up in Atlanta, Ernie being a staple for TNT and just what a man of faith, what a man he is just in general. I was like, absolutely. And so I ended up getting to do that and the NLDS. We did that 5-game series with the Dodgers and Nats, which was unbelievable. That was the Nats run all the way to the World Series that year when they won it. And it just kind of clicked, and it really became a good balance for me because it's allowed me to be at home a lot more. We have 4 kids now, and as my wife says, she's like, I followed you everywhere with kids. She's like, it's time to be in one place and to raise a family. And so it actually has just really worked out well for me, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm around enough that you still get to have the relationships, you still get to see people in this game that make it great and make it what it is, but I'm still home so much more and coaching my kids and being able to be dad. I always say my mom and dad were present for all of my stuff, and I think Katie and I kind of feel we want to do that for our kids.
Yeah, and you have 4 of them. That's cute and fun to think about.
I can't even imagine. Emily and I always say.
I mean, yeah, it's 2 and I'm tapping out. So what has that been like, and how, give us their age ranges and how much of dad do they know as the baseball player as opposed to dad on television, and are they impressed with any of it?
No, no. And actually, the only reason my kids watched game one last night, especially my two girls, was because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at the game. And she
Okay.
actually kept texting me from my wife's phone, can y'all show them more? I'm like, guys, there is a baseball game going on here called the ALCS. But no, that's what I love. My daughter remembers me playing some, my son very vividly, but I have a girl boy. So we have 11, 9, 6, and then Camden, as we do this, is getting ready to turn 4 in October 23rd. So we have a good balance, a good range. I always actually told my wife, I'm like, because we both came from big families. She had 4, I had 3 growing up, and I remember telling her like, I literally will have as many kids as you want to have, but when we get out of diapers, I'm out of the game. Like I'm not. I know some of my friends that have had kids that like 12, 10, and then they have a baby. And I'm like, no chance am I doing that. Like when we get out, we're out and we're moving, but it's fun. It's busy. There's no doubt. Now that all our kids are really starting to play sports, that's been the toughest thing because, me, I'm trying to coach everything. I'm trying to be there. But me and my wife are starting to tag team. Thank God we have the grandparents, both her mom and dad and my mom and dad live pretty close. So they're able to kind of help us sometimes on Saturdays when sports are just going everywhere. But my Saturdays are busy. I'm a massive college football fan, and it's so funny. I find myself watching a little less every year, but at the same time, man, I'm having a blast watching my kids do what they love.
And I love how you were able to kind of tie it all together with what I'm guessing is a bit of a new venture for you with Pure Athlete. The
Yes.
podcast, it's a space for people to have these conversations about youth sports. And here on the Mom Game, that's something that we talk a lot about. And man, when we do talk about it, like the engagement is off the charts because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something that they're experiencing with their kids, with what their kids dealing with baseball, with football, with hockey, with their daughter, with volleyball, whatever it is. And so I think it's really kind of genius what you guys have done to really lean into that and create something that is focused only on that. Can you tell us a little bit about Pure Athlete and kind of how it got started and what it's all about?
Well, yeah, thanks. I did a speaking gig with Acuity Lighting, which is a massive lighting company, and Britt Lee was one of the guys that was running this, and him and another guy named Brad had this idea for Pure Athlete, and they were kind of just talking to me about it, and I was just getting into the youth sports world, and I'm like, these parents are crazy, these coaches are crazy, these people are crazy,
Yes.
and you know what? The more I could experience, the more I'm like, man, there's so much pressure on these parents to think, I got to do this for their kids. And I remember just thinking like, man, we're losing the fun of it. We're losing the innocence of your kids just playing sports and enjoying it. And now look, when I'm out there coaching, like, heck yeah, I'm trying to win. But at the same time, like, I will never at a young age put winning over the development of a young girl or boy as they're continuing to make their journey. And funny enough, right? Like Matt Ryan's a good buddy of mine, of course, a Hall of Fame, well, probably soon to be a Hall of Fame quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. But I tried to get him on the podcast for like a year, and he kept saying, "Well, I'm busy." And he coached his twin boys in flag football. And like after the second game, he called me. He's like, I'm coming on the podcast. I got to speak my mind, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
so
insane.
it's nuts at these ages. And like, I can't tell you how many times you hear people, my son or daughter's 9, what do you think they need to do? And I'm like, they're 9, let them play. Like, God bless America. And like, I'm lucky. Like my dad, look, he pushed me in a good way. But when I was 13, 14, I played on a travel baseball team with all my buddies around the area. Like I could have gone and played in all these tournaments over. My dad's like, play with your buddies, play with the guys that you love playing with. And I always say it, right? Then when you're 16, 17, 18, if you have a chance to play at the next level, then now you sit down as a family and I think you weigh your options. What's best for my daughter or what's best for my son to realize their dream? But these people that are spending thousands and thousands of dollars at such a young age, and guys, y'all know this, like, and I love, the mom game, being a mom, being a dad, it's messing the family dynamic up. Families are never together anymore. And I'll just tell you this in our family, like Thursday and Sunday nights, we have family dinner and nothing's getting in the way of that. Like we made a promise, like The other 5 nights, if we're out playing a game, we're doing this, we'll stop at Chick-fil-A for dinner on the way home. But at the same time, it's important for our family to be together and to have that time kind of at home. And so look, do we know everything? No. Like, I've learned so much through this in 3 years, just even the way I coach my daughter's travel softball team, the way that I, help my son's flag football team out. But I'm telling you, it's trying to give these parents a way that, more is not always the best way to do it.
And I think too, hearing it from a voice like yours lends so much credibility to it, because you did achieve at the highest level. You did, make it to the big leagues, all that kind of stuff. And it's so and I find myself like Henry, my son. He's pissed right now because it's fall and his dad has him on he can throw 45 pitches in the fall on the weekend. And he is just beside himself. And he had a perfect game, 4 2/3. One more out, he would have gotten out of it, hit the last batter he faced. So it still would have been a no-hitter. And he was at 47 or whatever. And the coach went and got him. And he handled it better than I thought. And because I think he's maturing, but my husband even said, like, I would have told Pat he could have, kept him in there for one more batter. He's like, but I also appreciate the fact that he respects our boundaries and he knows he's not even going to come to us. And that was disappointing for him. But, Henry's work. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, do you want to talk? You want me to set up a conference call with Keith Meister, who's done a bazillion Tommy Johns? Like, do you want, you have to listen to me, honey. We're doing this to protect you. You're 13. Like, there's just no sense in it. But I just think people get and I think too, NIL is making it 10 times worse, because now they're like, not only you don't even have to make it to the big leagues or to the professional ranks. Now you can get paid in college. No. I think that's going to make it 10 times worse, because if they see a glimpse at 13, they're going to be like, okay, we're just 3-4 years from hitting money. That, it's like, it's hard to stay grounded.
And you want to tell Henry, right, Emily, like, do you want you to save your bullets now at 13, or do you want them when you're 17, 18, 19, looking to go to college, looking to get drafted? And it's so tough, right? Because your kids are so emotional. They want it. But it's like I tell some of these parents, are you letting your 12-year-old kid tell you what you're going to do and not do? Like, no. And I use the example, because you hear these parents, my son or daughter loves this. What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, well, if your son comes home and says he's going to play video games for 6 hours because he loves it, are you going to let him? No, heck no. You're going to be like, no, do your homework, go outside, go play. And so it's the same thing. We have to protect our kids from that. And I look back, guys, my dad, every summer, my mom took the reins, and for 2 weeks we went down to Florida on a family vacation. And I remember I used to want to take my glove, my bat, and go work out. And my dad was like, no, we're going down there. We're throwing the football on the beach. We're playing in the ocean for 2 weeks. And you were just having a complete break. And looking back, I was mad. Of course, my dad wouldn't let me do it. But looking back, I'm like, that break was what I needed. I needed a mental break. I needed a chance to relax. And like you said, these kids are playing year round now. And sad thing, I know Dr. Andrews really well, being from Atlantis in Birmingham right there. He told me a couple of years ago, he had done 2 Tommy Johns on 12-year-old kids, 12-year-old boys.
Yep.
And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Parents, parents should be shot. The coaches should be shot that a 12-year-old boy, and Brian McCann, who played in the big leagues forever, one of my best friends, I give him a lot of credit. They played in a tournament last year, and he took his team off the field in a game and forfeited because this other kid was at like 112 pitches. And this coach was not polling him. And Brian's like, I'm not watching this kid blow out on the field for a win. And I give him a lot of credit. He yanked his team off the field.
Yeah, it really is. We saw it. We just played in a tournament this weekend. Kids over 100, and they had to bring in the rules people to count the pitches. And I'm like, what are we doing to win a tournament in the fall that has 8 teams in it? I think I don't even know how many teams were in it. It's like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing?
Well, and
all to win a ring that you can buy off Amazon for $3.99, right? Like, if that's what we're doing.
I know.
It's so silly. And what gets me is when the dads start going at each other, or the dads and the refs start going at each other, of opposing teams about a call or something in front of kids. We're out here to try and help these kids learn and grow and as a person and as an athlete, and now you're showing them that it's okay to get in someone's face and just start yelling about a 8-year-old football game.
Don't leave out moms and grandparents. Let me tell you something. That's on our team. We got some granddads that Boy, howdy, do they know a lot about baseball, and they want to let you
Oh,
hear about it, and they're going to let the umps hear about it, and the kids. I'm like, you can't yell at other people's kids. Like, you just
No.
can't. Like,
no.
you shouldn't yell at
Well,
your own, but like, just shush.
and the mom claws, man, those mom claws come out at
Oh,
those games, and don't mess with my cub,
yeah.
right? Don't mess with my baby. And but that's been the fun thing for me, guys, is when we went into this, you think you're kind of going to some of our biggest supporters and people we've got are moms that are in the grind with these kids every day, right? For them that are taking them to practice, like anything. My mom was the majority of the time. Now my dad would come, but my mom was in the fight all the time with me, traveling with me when my dad couldn't. And so I think like anything is between moms, between dads, George Brett always gave me the greatest advice with coaching baseball. He coached his son's team. And he said these dads were yelling at their kids all the time how to hit, right? Like, get your back elbow up doing this. So George brought all the dads in one day and threw BP to them. And he said all the dads sucked. They couldn't hit at all. And he said, so he sat the dads down and said, stop yelling at your kids. You can't hit, so stop yelling at your kids to tell them how to hit. And I was always like, man, that is genius, George. Great idea.
Yeah. So based on like all the like stories like that and all the people you've talked to about this and just doing this podcast like you've been doing now for 80 episodes, what are the few like biggest takeaways, I guess, that you would want parents to know when they're just kind of starting out with their kids in youth sports? You touched on it a little bit at the beginning, right? Like just not overloading, that kind of thing. What are those big takeaways that you would say now?
I had 3 or 4 just really favorite ones that I've had. David Pollock, the great football player on
Yeah.
College Game Day. I love what he talked about. He said, until your daughter or son goes through puberty, you really don't know what you're working with. I mean, how many times do we see a kid at 10 who's
Oh,
the
yep.
alpha dude on the field, and then by 15 they haven't grown, they haven't worked, and they're not that great anymore. And so I think it's so funny. That's one of them that I love. And Smoltzy, John came on and said, if your kid's passion or if your passion is greater than your kid's passion for what they're doing, as a parent, it's not going to work well. It's not going to end well because
Yeah.
you're going to want your kid to do something that they're not. And then, one of my favorite was Julie Foudy, the great soccer player. She came on one time and she talked about how she had a coach that basically unloaded on her daughter for missing a soccer game when it was homecoming. It was homecoming for her daughter, and her daughter decided to go to the dance. And I'm like, and you had a coach that was mad kind of at how this was going. I love what, Julia was like, look, this is homecoming. This is a memory my daughter will always have. And I'm not going to take that away. And so I love it how because she is a mom, right? And her husband stepped beside their daughter and said, you're doing the right thing. Go do this. Go to homecoming, go to the dance, enjoy it. Missing this one game is not going to be the big difference. And the last one I'll say was Tony Dungy, man. I love Tony Dungy. I don't know if you've ever read any of his books. It's incredible. I mean, he's a man of faith, a man of character that, I think is unbelievable. But he said, fun, have fun. He's like, we always talk about fundamentals. What's the first 3 letters? Fun. And he's like, I used to tell Peyton Manning and Edgar and James and all the great players that he coached, like, if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, you are not going to be able to perform at the level you want. So I think it's right. My thing is my son, guys, he's 9 years old and he doesn't like baseball. Believe it or not, my son does not like baseball.
Oh,
2 years
no.
ago, 2 years ago, we're on the way home. And I remember my wife, because she just knows him so well. And she's like, I don't think he's having a lot of fun. And so we were on the way home one time and I was like, Braden, my 9-year-old's Braden. I was like, Braden, do you like baseball? And he was kind of like, and I'm like, look, just because dad played it, you don't have to play it. And he said, I kind of want to play lacrosse. And so now for 2 years, my son has played lacrosse. He loves it. I actually help coach, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm more the hustle coach. I tell the kids to run while they're out there.
You're the motivator. Yeah.
But the difference is now looking back, my son would come home after school and I'd like, hey, we got baseball practice today. And it was kind of like, okay. Now my son comes home from school. He has lacrosse practice. He's got his bag ready. He's got his gear laid out. And it's like, he is so excited to go to practice. And so I'm like, you know what? If this is what he wants to do, let's go. Let's have a blast and let's do it. So like I said, it's taught me a lot that my kids got to enjoy what they're doing. And it might not be what I want. It might not be you don't think I would love to be out there coaching my son's baseball team, but I'm like, this is not what he wants. And this is his dream and this is his journey. So I'm just going to support it.
Well, and two,
awesome.
yeah, it is. Such great advice. Also, one more. Have you had Mikey Young on?
We have not. So that's the thing, Emily, we've had to do is because I could have so many great baseball people on, right? So
You got
we're
to
trying
mix
to
it up.
space that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're trying to space. So actually, Mikey's going to come on this offseason with us. I got 2 or 3 of the baseball guys.
So Michael had such a great piece of advice where he said, don't talk to your kids about the game while they're in their uniform. Wait,
Yep.
let time pass, let it sit, all that kind of stuff. There are some times when Henry wants to talk about it, and if he wants to sound off, I'll engage him. But I'm not going to engage in the conversation about the game and while he has his uniform on. That was such a great piece of advice that Michael gave me super, super early on. One thing I wanted to touch on was this whole, and it's funny, your cohort fellow analyst CJ Nitkowski and I are obviously friends, worked together for a number of years, and I remember when, CJ, they have the rings and all that kind of stuff. Well, this was when my kids were super young. We didn't start that yet. And I was like, oh, well, you should never get a ring unless you win a state championship. Like, that's just the way my kid will not be doing this with a ring that he wins at a tournament, blah, blah, blah. Well, sure as shit. I mean, I ate my words faster than I could spit them out. But so much on the social media. And I posted something the other day. I feel like all we hear about is everybody wins. Everybody's winning. My son is fantastic. His teams are awesome. We're undefeated. He's 4 for 4, with 2 touchdowns. And it's just like, and I definitely post when my kids do well, or I just post in general. It's not like I'm throwing out their stats or anything. But the other day, he's playing tackle football for the first time. He's playing quarterback. And the first 2 games, they breeze through. He thinks everything's going to be just great. And then his third game, he got his teeth kicked in. He got picked. He got sacked. And my sister, his stepsister, just happened to be visiting. And I hugged him after the game, and she caught us hugging. And it was a really sweet picture. And I posted it. And I was like, this kid got sacked. He got picked. They got boat raced by a better team, and he's going to learn from this, and I'll always be there. I don't give a shit how he plays. I'm proud of how hard he works leading up to it, all that kind of stuff. And the lessons that sports can teach can be so valuable and be so great. And I really feel like, especially in team sports, there's no better way to learn about life than through sports. But we can't keep putting it out there that everything's great and everybody wins all the time and we're all posing with rings and we're all the MVPs and we're all undefeated, because then I think that as a byproduct of that, kids know that, kids see that, they can pick up on that, to where if they don't perform that way, well, then you're not posting about that, and you're not, all that stuff is all this crazy evolution that we've seen with social media. And that's a big part of it, is parents finding their worth and their value in some way by how their kid plays on a field. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, well, and we're making unrealistic expectations for our kids through the social media, that everything's great. Me and Katie actually talk all the time. We laugh because, you see these people, with 4 kids like us, and they're, oh, everything's great. The house is this. And we're like, no, we're a shit show over here, right? We got leftover milk out. We're doing the best we can to put the kids to bed by 9:30 to have a glass of wine. And it's just funny, right? It's like, this is real life. It's okay to say you had a bad day. And it's good for our kids to fail. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I learned more from failure than I ever did from success. How to fight back, how to realize that you're not going to do great every game. And like you said, you see these posts, oh, my kid got 2 great hits this game. And it's like, okay, but if you really dig in, your kid was 2 for 18 the whole tournament, right? Like, you only showed the 2 hits. And so I'm saying, we are making unrealistic expectations for our kids. And we're looking at this social media that, and CJ's great with that, because we've talked before, even at a higher level where his older son is, who committed to go to Georgia Tech. He's like, you get these kids, I hit 93 on the gun. Well, what they don't show is the ball was in the dirt and it wasn't even close to the strike zone. Who cares? And so I just, again, like you said, I think it's great. It's good to post stuff about your kids. Who doesn't want to post great stuff about your kids? But at the same time, are you making your kids feel like they got to live up to something? It's like I tell all 4 of my kids, and my last one's getting ready to start. I'm like, you will never buy my love. for a touchdown, for a hit, for a spike on the volleyball court. Like there's nothing you can do that's going to buy your love more than the way I love you just because you're out there playing. And again, I'm not saying don't help your kids succeed. Don't push them. Don't, if you see something in that you really think's burning for them, come beside them and help them. But again, let them have their journey and let them tell you, I didn't push my daughter much at all. And now it's funny, in the last year, she's really loving softball. I coach her travel team and, she's like, hey, can we go hit in the cage? I love it. Yes, absolutely. But I want her to ask me that. I don't want it to have to be every time. Hey, let's go in the backyard and get some work in. I love that she's coming home now from school and being like, can we go work? And I agree that the whole idea of social media and everything's great. Like I said, me and my wife talk all the time. Like, no, it's not. We're shit show 6 out of the 7 days of the week, and we're not scared to admit it.
Yeah.
We're trying to get by every day.
Yeah, that's our favorite word on this show too.
Shit show.
We're a big shit show. 7 out of 7 over here.
Yeah.
7 out of 7, 24/7. Yeah. I mean, it's all about being real, leaning into it. And I think when you do that, which is what we do on our show and what you do on yours, you realize that a whole lot of people are the same way. And that's why it's good to have those communities that we have and that you've created as well. And we're just so grateful for your time today and for joining us.
Yeah, this was so fun. I could talk to you for hours about this stuff, and I'm sure we could trade a gazillion different stories. But I'm glad we started off with the 2010 clinch in Oakland.
Oh man, that was so much fun. I told you it was such a good memory sitting there, and I just remember the 2010 we were sitting on the line up there in New York. It's a great place to play, but I'll tell you what, I always tell people the greatest memory I have is Neftali Feliz striking out A-Rod in Game 6 there in Texas, and the party was on. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. And that's most Ranger fans before the World Series. That's most Ranger fans' favorite memory. And I guess for me personally, the Oakland clinch was just something so special because it was a relatively grand, in the grand scheme of things, there weren't a lot of our fans there. It was a lot of family members, all that kind of stuff. But it was a really, really special time. But
we tore that locker room.
Oh
a new
my
one.
gosh!
That locker room is already messed up out there. It's never been the same since the
Seriously.
Texas Rangers put a beating down there in 2010.
Poor Mikey. Remember Mikey, the clubhouse manager there?
Oh God,
so great.
He had no chance.
Yeah.
He had no chance
I
after
know,
that.
but
one.
he was so great. He was so. I mean, didn't complain about anything. Yeah, Mikey's great. Well, Frenchie, this was so much fun. Thank you seriously for taking time.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the ALCS. We will be watching. We do have to end with one thing, and it's super cheesy, but that's who we are. Look into the camera, throw up double peace signs, and say "Mom Game Out." It's how we end our show. Got it? Count of 3.
Hey, I'm Jeff.
No. You don't have to say your name. Just say "Mom Game Out."
You can.
Oh, Mom Game Out.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Look at you. You were turning on your professional broadcaster voice there.
Here we go. I'm ready.
Ready to rock.
All right. On the count of 3, Mom Game Out. 1, 2, 3. Mom Game Out.
Mom Game Out.
The Mom Game is proud to partner with local GEICO offices, Victoria Elliott, proudly serving your local community.